Many accounts of alien encounters begin with a single person driving down an empty desert highway in the middle of nowhere, seeing an unexplainable light. In 1994, that narrative shifted to a schoolyard in Rua, Zimbabwe. At the Ariel School, 62 children playing during their morning break reported a silver disc descending from the sky and landing in a nearby field of brush. The event was significant enough that director Steven Spielberg eventually pointed documentary filmmaker James Fox toward this specific school in Africa to begin his investigation. Fox found striking consistencies in the children's accounts. Dozens of students independently described the same silver crafts, short beings with large black eyes, and telepathic warnings regarding our technology. These testimonies eventually drew a formal investigation from Dr. John Mack, a psychiatrist at Harvard University, who interviewed the children and concluded they described a genuine traumatic experience rather than a fabrication. This pattern of mass witness events extends to 1966 in Australia. Over 200 students and staff at Westall High School in Melbourne watched a silver dome-topped disc hover over their grounds before landing in a nearby field. When hundreds of unconnected children and educators across decades and continents describe identical crafts and behaviors, the standard theory of mass hysteria becomes difficult to maintain. Accounts of these encounters frequently move past visual observations into the realm of physical and biological trauma. In 1975, a 7-man logging crew in Arizona reported seeing a metallic disc hovering 20 feet above a clearing. One crew member, Travis Walton, approached the craft and was hit by a beam of light, resulting in a disappearance that lasted 5 days. Local authorities initially suspected the crew was covering up a murder, but Walton and 5 other crew members passed official polygraph tests administered by the state, validating their description of the event. This diagram compares human communication to an advanced biological model. Walton later theorized that the entities he saw lacked facial expressions because advanced telepathic communication would eventually render physical biological emoting obsolete. In 1996, in Varginha, Brazil, reports of a craft crash led to claims of a physical entity recovery by the Brazilian military. 3 witnesses described a creature with oily skin and a putrid, overwhelming smell of ammonia. The military response was immediate, involving the cordoning off of local lots and reports of a secret quarantine at a nearby regional hospital. Officer Marco, a 23-year-old who reportedly handled the creature during its capture, fell ill within days. He died shortly after from what doctors described as a total and unexplained collapse of his immune system. Documented polygraph success and lethal physiological reactions shift the focus from psychological curiosity to a tangible biological hazard. To bypass the limitations of human perception entirely, investigators rely on objective sensor data captured by modern military platforms. Navy pilot Ryan Graves reported that after his squadron upgraded their radar systems, they began detecting unidentified objects off the U.S. East Coast on a near-daily basis. During a flight in formation, a pilot in Graves' squadron flew within close proximity of one of these objects. He described it as a dark gray cube encased perfectly within a translucent sphere. This schematic illustrates the observed propulsion anomaly. These objects could remain completely stationary against 140-mile-per-hour winds, exhibiting no visible wings, thermal exhaust, or lift. Then they break hover, accelerating to 370 miles per hour to perform precise racetrack patterns that exceed current aviation turning logic. When visual sightings from trained aviators are corroborated by radar and infrared data, the evidence challenges the limits of conventional aerospace technology. The record includes mass sightings at schools, lethal biological contamination in Brazil, and daily incursions into restricted airspace recorded by the Navy's most advanced sensors. Institutional responses have been consistent. Hospital wings were locked down in Varginha, and school administrators in Melbourne were instructed to remain silent about what landed in their fields. The propulsion, biology, and technology witnessed across these decades do not align with standard physics or known human development. Beyond the question of where these objects originate lies the reality suggested by the data. Our scientific and military institutions are facing a technology they are currently unable to match.